Hi all. Today we are going to deal with how to write a good literature review for your technical report writing paper. Okay, so you are having some tips for writing a good literature review. And what are they? 10 simple rules for writing research papers. This is something that I took from the internet. Now see, you can read it. Make it a guiding force. So always design a project with an ultimate paper firmly in your hand. So something that even though you are having so many ideas that come across you, you are having so many thoughts that come across you. Of course, thoughts are aligned with all those experiences and all those things that you envision in front of you, and also the heard stories also will uh, bound or mold your thoughts. So here, always you should have a guiding force as to what your paper should be. That is the most ultimate aim. The second one is be concise and objective. Your writing should be very concise, it should be very precise to the point, and also it should be very objective. Objective in the sense that it should not be subjective. You should not take any subjective stance, for instance, in the first half itself. Your research project or your research report is something that you are going to dig into. That means that you should not have any premonitions, or you should not have any earlier assumptions about what the conclusion is. You are clueless what the conclusion is, but you are having a research question in your mind. You are going to dig into it and you are going to understand what is the right thing. Okay, now less is more. So what is less is more? You need to have something that is very less in your mind, but that is very more. That means you are having an idea, and when you think about that particular idea, you will know and understand more about it. For instance, I have read a book called The Subconscious Power, The Power of the Subconscious Mind. In that particular book, you can see that the author is saying that there is a subconscious power in the mind. When you are put in a particular problematic situation, you need to come out of it. So how do you come out of it? Your brain is constantly working consciously and unconsciously. Even when you are sleeping also, it is working, and then it will somehow try to find out a solution. So many corners are working around. Okay, so that means that whatever you are having, if it is less, that is something that is more. I don't know if you can see the phone, but I enlarge it. Okay, it is often the case that more than one hypothesis or objective may be tackled in one project. It is, of course, it's okay. Hypothesis means that assumptions. It's not true. These are assumptions. You are having certain things that you should have to work about, and these hypotheses should be worked about. Okay, so you may have a tendency to work on more than one hypothesis in a particular project. The significance, completeness, and coherence of the research should be the principal guide for selecting the story to tell. So, of course, you need to have something. You need to have to hunt down the hypothesis. You need to have to hunt down the research gaps pertaining to that particular project, and you need to have to adhere to what your particular view is, so that when you are looking into that perception, you can understand what you have to do. Okay, now next one, use the third person. When you are writing, you usually use third person. That is to create a situation, or to create an environment of objectivity. Okay, then be specific to what you are saying. Acknowledge the potential pitfalls. Of course, you are having certain pitfalls. Pitfalls means the research gaps are there. There are so many pitfalls, and you should have to acknowledge all of them. Avoid redundancy. Information that has already been presented, please don't use it again and again and again. It is very uncouth to use like that. Then you get the feedback. See, whatever you are writing, you get the feedback from your peer group members or those who are closer to you, because sometimes some things that you write, you may feel that it is the ultimate thing that you can present, but when you show it to a person who has more knowledge on that particular field or area, he can give you more what you can say, ideas on how to improve on that particular topic. Now, based on that feedback, you should have to revise and rewrite, and then you should have to give yourself time. Of course, when you are writing a quality research paper, you need to give your time. The first time I wrote and published a paper, it took me around 4 months to complete it. But later on, when I started understanding the techniques of how to write a very good research uh, proposal and a very good research publication, I can finish a work within 2 weeks or a maximum of 3 weeks. If I sit for certain for a week without doing anything else, I'm sure that I will be able to do it. So it is a constant effort from your part that will create it. Of course, I know that a majority of the students in our class are not interested in presenting a research proposal. I know that. Only a half of you are interested in going for a research or being an academic or being a scientist or being an R&D in a particular company. Yes, I know that. But of course, it is very good if you can understand the hidden tires and hidden secrets of how to write a research proposal. Okay, so here we are dealing with that. Okay. Now, this is something else that I had copied from the internet. A person called Deepa Jagannathan, she is a very near friend of mine. She has written how I wrote a grand proposal in less than 10 minutes using ChatGPT. So, why I use this is because I know that it is the world of AI. I'm not a person who is very traditional. I'm not a person who is against AI. I'm okay with AI. So, whatever you can use in AI and whatever you can utilize, if it can trigger certain thoughts in you, ideas in you, if it can involve your what you can say, the unaccessible parts of your brain, that's fine with me. So here the person is telling how she wrote a particular research proposal in 10 minutes using ChatGPT. So here I copied the grand core vision statement. She copied the vision statement and she put it in ChatGPT. You all know how to utilize ChatGPT. Yes, isn't it? Now explaining the strengths and understanding the call and project outlining, crop selection, institute alignment, proposal drafting, everything is being done by ChatGPT. It's okay if you can provide something, some inputs to ChatGPT to create something that is very original. See, in your case, why the teachers are against using ChatGPT is because you people will not use your brains. What you think is that you will give some keywords into the ChatGPT, it will create a particular format or particular proposal or research, and you'll just madly copy paste that into your paper. One thing that you should have to know is that certain teachers, for instance, they are more familiar with AI tools in research and writing than you people, because you may be familiar with coding and Python and other scenarios, but we are familiar with ChatGPT and writings and the language of ChatGPT. For instance, you can say that ChatGPT is something that uses the words, some keywords like intricate, moreover, all over, furthermore. These are some keywords which we can see is being written by ChatGPT. So, how you will change those words? What you will do is that when I say you that there are some keywords which will of course give a vision that this particular thing was written by ChatGPT, what you people will do is that you'll try to give synonyms for those words, isn't it? So how are you planning to give the synonyms? Of course, without any vocabulary you will not be able to give any synonyms. And sometimes when you align certain synonyms to these particular words, of course the sentence structures will change, isn't it? So here you can paraphrase something that is written by ChatGPT, it's fine. But the only thing is that some effort from your part should also be done. Okay, it should not be wholly AI generated. That is what teachers are against. Now next one, research proposal flowchart. So here in the introduction part, I told you in our first class that when I give you a particular topic and when I tell you how to write or please write a report, the thing that you will do is that you will be writing a report based on only 3 sections. In that particular report, there are 3 sections, the initial part. And what are they? The first part or the first half or the first paragraph will be introduction. The next one will be what? The body of the report, and the third one will be conclusion. These are things that you will write. But here towards the end of this particular course of technical report writing, what we are planning to do is we will be elaborating upon each of these. In the introduction part, what should come? In the body of the part, what should come? In the conclusion part, what should come? What are the things that will come in middle? Or what are the things that come in between all these paragraphs? These are things which you have to understand. So here, in the introduction question itself, you should have to give a summary of the proposal, what you are going to do, why you are going to do, how we are going to do. That is the introduction part. For example, if you are going to create a real life scenario, you can emphasize upon that. What is the need for that particular research? What is the need for that particular technical report writing topic in the contemporary situation? You should have to mention that. It will be very good if you can give an introduction about that topic, and it will be very good if you could tell what, how, and why this particular research question popped up in your mind. Okay, now the introduction leads to literature review. Literature review is the most essential part, most important part. So here in literature review, we have done in the previous class, I've asked you to take so many research papers from Google Scholar. I asked you to find out the research question in each of these research papers, and you should have to find whether the author is syncing or contradicting to that particular research proposal, and you should have to mention that in your report. If it is syncing to the ideas, if it is giving some ideas, or if it is promoting certain thoughts, if you are induced, or if you are familiarized, or if you are supported by all these thoughts of this particular writer, you can just emphasize that this particular writer is contributing such an idea, and from there you have mapped out your particular idea. So the literature on the topic is given, the literature on the method. What are the method that you are going to understand or utilize? If it is textual analysis, you can utilize that. If it is real life scenario, you can utilize that. If it is quantitative analysis, you can utilize that. If it is survey method, you can utilize that, and so many other techniques are there. Okay, so here the literature on the topic is given, literature on the method is given, and theoretical approach is given. What are the theoretical or theories that you are going to use? So if I am going to write a particular paper on, for example, the psychology of the BTech students while they are sitting in an English classroom, you will obviously feel that you need to have two brains, isn't it? Like a technical brain and a brain that understands the illuminous and the, what you can say, the invisible, and the what you can say, the abstract things that are being said by an English teacher, isn't it? So here the theoretical approach is being mentioned. Now, find a hole doesn't mean that you should have to find a hole in the paper. It means that you should have to find a research gap. That research gap is also called as the research edge, and that research edge is going to be analyzed in that particular report that you are planning to write. Okay, you are finding a research gap, then you are looking for debates on that particular topic. If a research gap is found, if a particular topic which is not being used or which is not being propped upon much by another person, you have taken that particular topic, you can further understand whether any other papers are being written like that or written in search of this particular thing. You can understand that, and you can look for the debates accordingly. Then next one, methodology. The research design of the whole paper is being asked. The research procedures, the kind of data, collection procedures, selection and access, human subject review, ethics statement, cost and funding. So ethics statement means that if you are using an ethnographic study, for example, if you are using an indigenous population for your study, you need to have an ethics committee report, which says that you will not be utilizing them, you will not be exploiting their anything, or their households, or they're physically abusing them, or nothing of that sort. So you should have to sign that paper. That is called as an ethics committee. Okay, next one, preliminary data. You are collecting all the data, you are grabbing all the data. For example, when I say, for instance, that girls are having a certain talent, they are having a talent that when they are doing an online shopping, when they just see a dress, they can imagine how they look in that particular dress. Maybe that particular dress, they will not have that color of that dress, so they'll be choosing it. But in the case of boys, they want to wear it and see whether it is suiting them, and they are okay with all the normal colors. They may have 5 or 6 black t-shirts, 5 or 6 gray t-shirts. They are okay with continuity. They are okay with familiarizing with a particular color. It's not the same with females. Okay, females are always like they want to be the center of attraction, and that's why they always collect so many clothes. Yeah, so here you are collecting so many clothes. For instance, the girls are shopping in certain apps like Myntra or Ajio or Fab India, for instance. They are collecting so many materials. They're collecting so many kurtas or t-shirts or tops or something. They are putting it in the cart, and after that, what they do is that they will have to remove certain clothes which they didn't like. They'll be comparing and contrasting with other clothes. Okay, so the same procedure is being followed here also. You are collecting so many materials, you are collecting so many data, and later on you are filtering them. Okay, what is aligning, what is important to your thoughts, you are using them. Okay, now here you have the kind of data, research procedures, etc. Next one, preliminary data. You are having the important data, preliminary findings are there, important categories are there, relationships are there, and later on you will be having the statement of limitations. Sometimes your study will have its own limitations. Okay, only upon further research it will be opened up. So you can state that also. And in the conclusion statement, you are saying what is the importance of this particular study. Okay, contribution to the current scenario. Okay, now instead of the PhD literature review, just strike PhD off, and the literature review funnel diagram I am showing it. So the first one is broad sweep. Okay, you are sweeping it wholly, you are taking everything, you are filtering the relevant thing, you are deep diving. Deep diving means you are highlighting the key findings that align with the research goal. Then you are having the funnel step. What is funnel step? You are trimming down your review to the most critical and resourceful materials that will contribute to your research. And synthesis, you are connecting the dots, you are utilizing each and every connections, and you are drawing upon a bigger conclusion, which will, of course, it's not necessary that you should have to always sync with a hypothesis or the thesis statement. It is okay even if you contradict it. Contradiction is also fine. Now here I am giving you certain AI tools for research. For systematic reviews, you have Ryan, Covidence, RevMan 5. For literature reviews, you have R Discovery, Litmaps. Litmaps is of course very good. When you utilize Litmaps, you can find the research papers associated with your kind of research. You can perhaps understand it. You can perhaps download it. Then Skite is there. Then plagiarism check. You have Authenticate, Crossref, and Grammarly. Grammarly is also used for grammar checkings. Next one is literature search. For literature search, you can utilize Elicit, elicit.ai, in which you can upload a PDF file. If you want to understand the gist of that particular article, then that particular article will be given there. Okay. Then you have the writing assistants such as ChatGPT, WordTune, Bard, etc. Grammar and paraphrasing, you are having Quillbot, Paperpal, Grammarly, etc. And citations, you have Zotero, Mendeley, and Jabref. Okay, it's okay if you utilize all these steps, but the thing is that your final project, when I'm running it in a certain plagiarism check, it should not have any plagiarism. You know what is plagiarism, right? Plagiarism is something that you thieve, or the ideas that you steal from somebody. It's okay if you paraphrase it, but you should have to acknowledge from where you have taken it. That's why you are using the bibliography and works cited, for instance. Okay. Now, steps for writing a literature review. This is the most crucial part. Write the introductory statement, the research and works of literature that will be pertinent to the issue are first presented in this chapter. They are gathered to assist the researcher in analyzing the study's findings and outcomes in the reference to the current issue. The current issue is being given, and you should have to give the idea as to why your particular study is important for this particular scenario. Then write the theoretical frameworks which are used. theory of plant behavior. This is an example that's given. So here the person is writing according to the theory of plant behavior, and so many stuffs are being written. And see, in bracket it is written ASJEN 1985. It means that a person with the name of ASJEN has written an article in 1985, which is of course cited in your work, cited, and that is being incited in your body of the work. Okay, it is considered that intentions capture the driving force that shape a behavior. They are signs of how much people are willing to sacrifice and exert to carry out the conduct. In general, the more strongly a behavior is intended. So all these things which are being written is a form of literature review. This person has taken into account so many papers written by so many people. For example, Ashton is one of the author of a paper, and Ashton has written 2 papers, one in 1985 and one in 1991. And this person who is writing this particular theoretical framework, he is aligning or he is utilizing all the thoughts which Ashton has used in this manner. Okay, it should be like this. It should not be like that, like a school going kid writing as Jen has mentioned in his paper. It's stupid. Okay, it's stupidity. Please don't write it. You should have to write something which is very much aligned to the formal content. Okay, now the theory of planned conduct states that 3 factors, so many things are being said. Okay, so this is how you should have to objectively write a particular literature review. Now write the context of the study. Now for example, you are writing life insurance. About life insurance you are saying, and here Hagos et al. 2019. That is also an article which is written in 2019 by this particular author Hagos. And some ideas from this particular person is being utilized in this particular sentence. We don't know which one. If the exact words are being taken, you should have to put it in double quotes. If you are paraphrasing it, it's fine if you utilize like this. Okay. In the same way, Rejda 2003 is given. Hailu 2007 is given. Okay, all these references will be given in the works cited page for any further research. If a person who is utilizing your particular body of research further to understand something else, he can utilize the work cited and he can understand what that particular person has said in this particular context. So here you are proving that you have taken certain ideas from all these people and you are utilizing it. Now write the variables of the study. For example, in order to lay out the literature and research that would help in the comprehension of the subject, the subject of the article examines the variables that we used for the current study. Variables are financial attitude and financial behavior. Okay, so based on that, 2 references are being given. Okay, and it will be good if you are using something that is associated with tax or something that is associated with psychology, because it will give you an emphasis, or it will give you a limited view about what you should have to focus on in your research paper. Now, writing the research hypothesis and their justification. The example is, the paper's hypotheses are described in this section along with the factors that led to the author to choose them for the current study's hypothesis. So here the hypothesis is given, and here also the person is utilizing so many articles from different sources, and that's why he is using the mentioning or acknowledging them in the brackets. Okay, certain thoughts from their particular article is being taken. So this is how you should have to write a literature review. If you are utilizing something that is according with the pollution or the climate change in our country, you should have to mention about that. If you are mentioning about sustainability, you should have to find articles accordingly. You should have to take the ideas from them which are syncing to your idea. You can just map or route your evidences accordingly. Okay. Now next one, write the synthesis of the reviewed literature and studies. So here the factors influencing the research is being mentioned. These findings are supported by Kharyad's study 2017, which revealed that students are. So here also you are justifying, you are supporting your evidence. See, you are not a theoretician. You cannot blatantly say something out of the blue. You should have to prove your thoughts, you should have to prove your evidences, you should have to prove your ideas, you should have to prove your hypothesis and justify it with the ideas of people who have said that prior to you. So that it means that you have done an on-depth or in-depth study of that particular research. Okay. Now summarize the main findings of the previous research studies. The result of this literature review showed little information about the actual procedures, and here you are summing up what are the major findings of a particular research. So what you should have to do is you should have to understand a particular research paper which is aligning to your area of research. You should have to take the ideas from that, you should have to minimize it, you should have to utilize it in your research paper, and please avoid words like so and so person has said in so and so thing. It is completely traditional. What you will do is you will be writing a formal research paper. So here I'll be giving you a work like you will have to submit a research literary review, okay, based on any topic which I am assigning to you, okay. And even if you use any AI tools also, it's fine, but the thing is that you should have to submit it within 5 p.m. tomorrow, that is 21st February, okay. So only then we can understand whether if it is okay to do this flipped kind of classroom, okay. So with this I end, and I don't want to further complicate things, okay. And thank you.